You're watching Oddly Cute Pets. Are you worried about your leopard gecko having shedding issues or refusing to lay eggs? Do you want to make sure your gecko feels safe and secure in its tank? Hides are an essential part of any leopard gecko's habitat, and they don't take much to set up. But if you have space, it's a good idea to have multiple hide boxes, including a moist hide. These don't take much effort to make on your own, and doing it yourself may save quite a bit of money. This is why we made this guide on how to make a moist hide for a leopard gecko. Making a moist hide for a leopard gecko requires a container 2 to 3 times the size of the reptile and a substrate that retains moisture, without getting moldy. Place the substrate and container on the warmer side of the tank, where applicable, and let your pet enjoy. And for a list of everything needed to do this, visit our website in the description under this video. Number 1. Pick a spot in your tank. Before doing anything, you must pick the right spot for your moist hide. To start, you need to figure out if your tank has a warm side or a cool side. For those using a large cover heating mat, you may not, and this is okay. But your heating mat should stay a little more to one side or the other. This gives the leopard gecko a place to rest if it gets too cool. When you have a warmer and cooler side in your tank, pick a spot on the tank's warmer side, not directly under any lights. Placing directly under a light may make the interior of the moist hide too hot for the leopard gecko, and it won't use it. However, if you keep the substrate wet, as we'll mention later, but place the hide on the cool side, you'll increase the risk of respiratory and breathing problems. Number 2. Spread out the substrate. Once you find a spot, look at how much space the hide will take up. You need to spread out your substrate of choice to cover the whole area. Those whose tank uses a reptile carpet or other liner put the humid substrate over the carpet. An inch would be enough. If you use a real substrate such as pea gravel, move it out of the way where the hide will go and replace it with the moss or other moist substrate. Make sure the depth of the substrate matches your original. Number 3. Wet down the substrate. Take a spray bottle of water and lightly spray/dampen the substrate. There's no hard and fast rule for how much to spray, but most owners agree the substrate should look wet yet not show any standing water. We recommend erring on the side of dry instead of sopping wet. Too much water will increase the risk of mold and bacteria growth. Nothing actively wrong will happen if it's too dry, though it needs to be damp to raise the humidity. Number 4. If needed, make a hole in the container. For some containers, you'll need to take scissors or a box cutter and cut a hole for the leopard gecko to use as an entrance. The entrance should be twice as tall and wide as the gecko for it to enter and exit easily. You don't want it to be too small, or it may feel trapped. If you do need to cut, make sure the cuts are as smooth as possible. Watch out for sharp edges which may cut your pet. Number 5. Place the container. With a proper container and substrate down in the right spot, you're ready to put it down. Place it in your chosen spot. Push the container down a little into the substrate or use substrate, or small rocks, to hold the edges down. Once this is done, you're good to go. You've made your moist hide for your leopard gecko and probably saved some money while doing it. Remember, there are many ways to do this, so get creative. As long as you make sure you use the proper substrate in the warm spot with a suitable container, 2 to 3 times the size of the leopard gecko, the moist hide will work and your pet will have a little bit of a better life. Do you need a moist hide for leopard geckos? This largely depends on the owner. Some will say it's an absolute must to prevent shedding problems. If you start spraying down the tank 3 to 5 times per day when you notice signs of shedding, you shouldn't have any problems. Outside of this, as long as you have a hide period, a moist hide isn't necessary, but your leopard gecko will enjoy it. Where do you place a moist hide for leopard geckos? Moist hides aren't like standard hides, they have a specific place they need to go. As mentioned above, the moist hide needs to go on the warmer side of the tank, where there is one, and not directly beneath any heating lights. Should I spray my leopard gecko with water? Don't spray down your leopard gecko just to do it. While nothing terrible is likely to happen, consistent high humidity may give them respiratory issues. Leopard geckos are used to typically dry environments. They live in rocky desert areas with higher temperatures. Leopard geckos will look for more humid hides during the hottest parts of the day and year, but they don't need to be sprayed down. If you follow our recommendations, you'll only spray down the gecko when you see signs of shedding. Should I turn my leopard gecko's light off at night? Absolutely. The rule of thumb for many reptiles is 12 hours with heat and light on and 12 hours with heat and light off. This helps to follow the natural pattern of their day-night cycle. The change in light will signal that it's time to come out. Remember, leopard geckos are nocturnal. Temperature change also helps to regulate their cycle. Leopard geckos store energy during the day. Without the nightly release, they'll be all messed up and stressed out. Check out the video description below for links to our website. If this video was helpful, please subscribe and give it a like. Thanks for watching.